We got whores on the city. We need backup now. Don't be so dang literal.
Well, you've got one heck of a nerve.
Oh my God! The government is here! Run!
Hey, barkeep, whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
Ich bin ein Springfielder.
Shut the hell up. I've got the strangest feeling someone's gonna kick his ass.
One. All right. What's up? Totally Toonular.
Yay.
We are 108. 108, guys. Goddamn. And we're joined today by our good friend of the show, John Silecchia. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Long time coming, dude. I feel like we talked about you coming on for a while, and then I was like, damn. Like last time we talked, I was like, you're right. Like I promised Bjarni first. I'm gonna get Bjarni, and then you're number two. We're gonna do it. And here you are. You made it. So glad to have you on.
John's not a number two. He's not a number.
Well, you know what I mean. Not a number two. Not like that.
Oh my God, I have a funny story about that. Sorry, can I interrupt really
who?
fast? So I was like, so my fiance and I and my mom went to like a deli nearby, and he was like, I grabbed a number, and I was like, I grabbed a number two, and I kept saying that, not realizing. I was like, I have a number two. I have a number two.
That's
and he
awesome.
was just like not saying anything to me. I was like, no, and he was like, do you realize what you were saying? Anyway, so that happened.
Good
Hi,
for you.
John.
Yeah, how's it hanging, John? It's been a while since we chatted. You still out in Long
Yeah,
Island?
I'm still out on Long Island. I'm not going to the Hamptons anymore. Unfortunately, I'm not with the television station, which is unfortunate. So,
Oh, that
but the
sucks.
good thing is I've been animating a little bit more, which has been good because I have some stuff in the works, which has been nice. There's all just
Yeah, this is awesome. This is like a very rare thing that we actually get like a real animator on the
Yeah,
show.
truly.
Yeah.
What are you animating now? Like, are you doing anything like certain projects, or are you like besides Weirdy? I know you're doing Weirdy. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that later.
So I decided to do this short called Time Wizard. I don't want to get anything I don't want to reveal anything much right now. But it's essentially about like a wizard who goes back in time and just causes chaos. I actually have all the storyboards right here. I've been working on, I want to say since like beginning of February.
Oh shit!
And I'm getting ready
Nice.
to just record voice lines starting next week. So hopefully
Dude, that's
that should be out
awesome.
by, I'm going to say like mid-March, end of March at least.
Oh,
Cool.
dude, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, you know, you ever want to talk about a cartoon on here too? You know, it's also besides getting animated, we also rarely get people who actually make shit like talk
Yeah.
about their shit on here. So we love to actually talk about something you've made.
If you need any voice actors, I've been told I have a beautiful timbre to my voice. So just so you know, I should do phone work, radio work, and John Silecchia cartoons.
Just not podcast.
Just never podcasting. No, not that.
I would do voice work for you too if you want for free because you're a
Oh,
friend.
thank you.
We got some voice actors, and if Leo was here, unfortunately Leo's not here. He's been called the Antonio Banderas of podcasting. So
Yeah, his
You
fans
got a
are very
good voice
disappointed
there.
tonight.
But dude, that's sick. So do you hand draw all of it? Like, what do you use? Like, as a
So I use Adobe Animate, which was called Adobe Flash.
Adobe Animate's a cool program.
So what I've been doing, at least for Time Wizard, I've been animating how they animate Aqua Teen. So they would hand draw all the assets, scan them into a computer, make them into Photoshop, and just animate them in After Effects. But instead, I'm just going through Animate. But it's still that same process.
Yeah. And that's the best part about animate. It lets you like it's basically like After Effects for animation, basically. Like there's so much, you got a lot of leg room in that. Like I've just actually recently, I've been fucking with the Adobe character animate. I don't know if you've seen
Oh yeah,
that.
like it's like the webcam thing, right?
Yeah, like it facial tracks you and shit like that. Like I was just fucking around with it, and made me to a fully animated like fucking gargoyle. It was sick, just off my
It's like
webcam.
I think it's just so cool,
Like-
like how far we've come since like, days of, like pens and paper. Now everything's on a computer. I know that there's a whole big debate on like which one, like which one's better. But at the end of the day, it's like as long as it's good, who cares?
who cares? And you know what? Sometimes
Yeah.
for me, I mean, you can speak better to this as an animator, but for me, it seems like, I mean, it saves animators a lot more time that they're not like being crunched like 20 hours trying to like do a cartoon, and now you have like, I feel like computers can help you at least, any of that time
Oh,
frame.
100%.
John, do you have a YouTube page we can
I
check
do
out?
have a YouTube page. So if you look up Neon Dream Studios on YouTube,
Okay.
that's where all my work, my personal projects will be hosted. So, and
Awesome.
also same thing on newgrounds.com. Neon Dream Studios.
You're
What's
on
that?
Newgrounds?
On Newgrounds,
I didn't even know
yes.
you can still be on Newgrounds. I didn't know that was like you can still do
Yeah,
that.
no, there's still a thing. Like one of my friends who still uses it. His short was actually in Trauma Dance last year. He uses Newgrounds a lot, and he was like, "John, you should totally get on that." So
Oh, that's amazing. Yes, I literally haven't like been on a Newgrounds, and I couldn't tell you how long. Like,
So I slept on the creator of Newgrounds floor one time.
you were telling me.
Yeah, Tom Fulp's floor.
Nice.
We went down for we went down to Philadelphia for a trauma event during the summer of 2000, and there was what was it? We took Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD, and Toxie to the Republican National Convention. And then we were not allowed in, obviously. We didn't have appropriate press credentials. And after that, we went to a free Mumia rally with Toxie and Kabuki Man. It got scary when there were helicopters. So then we left that, and then we went to the venue where we were having this like sort of fundraiser party. And that night we ended up, it was me, Doug, a lady named Nicole Howe, and then Nicole Howe.
That's me.
Right. And then Terry Firmer and a couple of the other Tromettes from Citizen Toxie. But me, Dougie, and Nicole ended up on Tom Fulp's floor that night.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. It was a good
Nice.
time. Yeah. I didn't
definitely
know.
sober, right? Like you guys were 100% sober on his floor.
Oh, yeah, completely. Yeah. Yes, very much so. That's how we lived our lives back then, James. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's only changed the older I've gotten.
Yeah, like how we used to live our lives.
Yeah.
No.
Not anymore.
No, but John, that's sick, man. Like I said, I didn't even know Newgrounds was even like still active like that. But that's so dope, dude. Like being on Newgrounds, doing all this, because like I'm so jealous, man. I want to make cartoons so bad, and that's why I like technology now, because it's like sick. I can like you can make shit in Photoshop. You know what I mean? Like, have you heard of this YouTuber? His name is Joel Haver.
No, I don't think I have.
He does these like animated cartoons that are hilarious. He was actually in the Poloni special that we did here. It's like it looks like rotoscope animation, but like it's like done through a program called EBSynth, and like you just film your whatever, the guy doing whatever, then you draw a frame of it in Photoshop, and then you just take that one frame, export all your other frames that you just shot, and put it through EBSynth, and that matches all the frames on top of it.
Dude, that's awesome. Do you have like a link you could send me? Because I would love to check that out.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Anyone can send it. It's called EBSynth. It's 100% free, so everyone should check it out. I've been fucking with it lately. It's kind of, you can literally draw whatever weird shit on top of yourself, and it just does it. It's kind of
Ooh.
wild.
See, I always wanted something like that, especially that like you can't really do that like in like Premiere, and like dragging movies into Photoshop is such a bitch. So it's like, kind of have something that's like, oh, a happy medium where it's like Photoshop and Premiere. Like that
exactly.
Awesome.
And like I said, you can do it like drawing on and make cartoons, but you can also use it as like, you can draw one frame with a bunch of trippy shit all over it, and then that can last, throughout the whole sequence. So Ebisips, whoever's out there, if you're interested, check it out. But yeah, John, it's great having you on the show, man. Now, this is your first time on the show, and usually, Leo would be here, and I'd be like, Leo, what are you doing? But, we go around, we kind of like to check up on our friends here. Nicole, how's it hanging on the West?
Well, tell you the truth, I feel like I'm falling apart. So yesterday was my birthday. I turned 31, and I've been like really excited about it, and I still like am, and I like feel like I am peaking in my life. But also I feel like 31 slapped me in the face and was like, look.
Yeah, what
down.
happened last week? You're like 30 fun.
I still feel like I'm having 30 fun, but okay, so I went to a casino over the weekend to celebrate my birthday. And lost $500, and I feel like that was like the beginning of like my like downward slope where I was like, well, I have to self-reflect. Like the best, like I feel like it'd be irresponsible if I didn't self-reflect on my life after that. You know what I mean? I was like, well, I kind of gotta like think about like who I am.
Yeah.
Like, what I mean,
like,
gambling addiction's no joke. I shouldn't say. If you really have a problem, see, I don't think I have that.
I went to the casinos once. And I've never gone back ever again.
Okay, but Vegas feels different because Vegas, you could like go to other, like you could, when you're losing, you can get up and like go to like a food place down the road and like switch it up. When you're at a casino and there's nothing else to do but like go to the pool, eat, or
do you at
play
least get free drinks?
No! You had to pay for drinks!
That's even worse.
Yeah, so, but like, you know what I mean? Like there was like not much else to do, but which like, and I had fun, but like I lost, I don't, whatever.
Yeah, just $500 gone.
Yeah, like.
Wait, oh fuck! Now I don't remember the line. Ben, what's the line from Where Dear?
$500. Oh wait.
Yeah, that was.
Damn, scammed out of $500 again.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. Like I really did, and we ate at a nice restaurant, and we like went to the pool. But like I don't know, I still was like I have to think about my life and who I am, and like this was before my birthday, and yesterday, Tuesday, February 28th was my actual birthday. I don't know. I do feel like I'm 30 fun, but also I like am overwhelmed. I don't know what. Hi Ben. What?
$500 poorer than you were before.
Yeah,
so like,
there you go.
But can I tell you how I like to go to casinos when I go? So my family, for the most part, like both my parents were like teetotalers, right? Didn't touch anything, didn't drink around, nothing like that. My mom might have a beer on occasion, whatever. Nobody ever went to like casinos or anything like that. We're very sort of straight edge in our household.
Same here, actually. Same here.
So the funny thing is, my mom, when she would go down to Louisiana, my aunt would take her to the casino boats because they have like casinos, floating casinos down there, right? So,
oh my God, it sounds so fun.
Yeah. So moms would go, but what she would do, and it was kind of funny because she'd get a shitload of nickels, like maybe $50 in nickels, something like that, and then she would get like, I want to say maybe $100 in quarters, and that was all of her money that she would take. But she would just play slots. She would just play like the nickel slots until all of that was gone. Right? Or she won something. So it was one or the other, but like the way...
Yeah, that's exactly what my grandmother was like when she would go to Atlantic City.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. That's the way to do it. Here's my $150. No matter what, this is all I'm spending on anything. If I lose it all, great. And then you separate your winning out. Where the problem becomes is when it's like, oh, I'm up 20, now I'm down 30. When you're not pocketing what you win as you go. So you got to pocket what you win.
Well, here's what it was. So I did go into the night saying to myself, or day, whatever, saying to myself, like, okay, I'm going to spend X amount and I'll be comfortable with that. Right?
Right.
But I fooled myself because my sweet, adorable, innocent grandmother gave me $200 cash, and I just used that, and
no.
and then I can't
Terrible.
even finish this. But
Well, also, Dwayne says happy birthday, Nicole.
Nice.
thank you so much, Dwayne. This is all to say that I was just like from then have been reflecting on my life. It's good. Like I do think I'm at the peak of my life. Like I think my life has never been better, actually. But also I'm overwhelmed. I don't know, but I'm having a good time with you all. Oh my
Well, I'm glad you're having a good time with us. Yeah, last time I went gambling too was my birthday, and I tried to do that thing. Like my birthday, like 21, so like 2 years ago. And I tried to, I tried to do the thing. I had $200. So like, this is what I'm gonna spend. I just put $100, played a game of blackjack, immediately lost all of it, and I was like, literally 3 turns. I was like, what the fuck, just. And then Fletcher, who kept winning all the money, just felt bad. And it was like, here's another $100.
What a nice friend. Fletcher, I gotta go with you to the casino next time, I think.
It's like half being nice and also half rubbing it in, at the same
Oh
time.
yeah, you've got no money and it's your birthday. Fine, have another 100. I'm up 1,000 right now.
That's fair. On a better note, guys, I'm wearing the Beavis and Butthead shirt I got from Forever 21.
Very,
Oh,
very
Remember I brought
nice.
this out last week?
Very.
That's how
very
you
nice.
live your 30s, Nicole.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a good thing. This is a good thing that's happening here as I'm wearing Beavis and Butthead shirts. So
And John, is that a
That is a
Friend
smiling
shirt?
friend, actually.
What?
wow.
I've never seen a smiling friend shirt around. That's amazing.
That is
I think
amazing.
I got this at the Death Clock concert at the Adult Swim Festival back in like last year, I think.
Very
Oh
nice.
shit, that sounds awesome.
That
I didn't
does.
know it was Adult Swim Festival. I guess where the fuck am I at?
I was gonna say I wish I had heard of that as well.
Yeah, I think
Yo.
Oh.
No, please.
I just lost my train of thought. So Ben,
No, I was gonna say I saw.
Ben
that-
likes to cut people off.
Well,
so it's-
and Jen says it's a horrible habit that I have, but it's a conversation that we're having. So, like, here's the thing: I saw Death Clock in. It had to have been around like maybe 2010, give or take, somewhere in there, like 2010, maybe 2012. They or maybe a little later than that, but regardless, they were touring around. It was, what is it, Brendan Smalls?
You're Brendan Smith.
Yeah, and his band. And I don't know if they still do the same thing, but what they would do is like the stage is completely dark. You don't see the band at all. He does all the voices. The guys are doing their voices and everything, and you're watching like either clips from the show or like clips that they've especially recorded for the venue that they're in. And it's an absolutely unreal show. It's so good.
No, I would highly recommend, especially like for me, like that was my first like death metal concert I've been to, and
Nice.
again, like my college roommates went to all these like metal concerts, so he's like, "John, you're going to be fine." So it was just,
Is that
yeah,
Jacob
I'm talking
you're
about Jacob.
Shout out to my old
Yeah.
boom op
Nice.
for that one shoot.
Hey.
So he brought me
Good
to this,
times.
and we're just spending like the whole day like just at this festival, and it was just like, wow, finally a good death metal concert. I'm just like, no, I would highly recommend if they're ever back. Hopefully they're like around Brooklyn because we had to go all the way to Philadelphia to go see them. So
Damn.
You got to get in the
Maybe
pit.
that's why.
You
yeah,
got to get in the pits, like you.
I will say, getting in the pit for Mermaider, good decision.
James, did you go with me to that Deaf Heaven concert that time years ago with
No, I
like
didn't go.
Okay.
No, I didn't go to that one. Yeah. So, yeah, you've seen some black metal.
Yeah, I went to that and I thought it was great, but I did not. I like went upstairs and watched the pit. That was like my one heavy metal show I've been to, and I was like, I am 5'2.5". I am not standing in here. And I just like watched like a god as everyone, grown people, just bumped into.
There's sometimes I see some like tiny ass girls who are just like crushing it, just kicking ass in that pit. Not like
Good for them.
give a fuck.
So
Good for them for sure.
it all depends on like what shows you're going to, right? Like that's the thing. So you've got like sort of stoner kind of metal or whatever that's mostly just like pushing and shoving, and then you might get like a decent old school like circle pit going, dudes running around in circles like shoving, and then there's a couple of guys just you'll hit either side of it on occasion, whatever, and then you go to like a hardcore show. And hardcore shows are the worst.
Because they're punching and kicking all the time.
Dude.
I'm just like, dude.
Yeah. what do you do?
Not even like in the pit, because hardcore shows usually don't have barricades either. So those dudes will fucking like throw flying kicks off of like the stage. Yeah.
Bro, we went to me and Jen went to Dillinger Escape Plan with the Locust.
Oh shit, dude. Those shows are wild, bro.
Dillinger
I've
shows
seen
are
people
amazing.
bleed, like heavily bleed.
So so my buddy Justin went to go see him in Memphis like 2 nights before we saw him in Nashville, right? Like he was out there visiting a friend, and they went to the show. Old boy caught a beer bottle in the head. Lead singer caught a beer bottle in the head, split him wide open. He finished the rest of the show just covered in blood.
Holy shit.
2 days later, 2 days later when he was in Nashville, I noticed he had this huge like bandage on his head, and we were like, what the fuck's going on here? But Jen, this was hands down like I knew in that moment, Fucking, there were these kids. They all end up in a pile on top of each other after karate kicking and throwing punches and whatever. And she just starts yanking these little like scrawny kids out of this fucking pit, getting them back up on their feet, just like left and right. Yeah, it was great.
That's awesome.
It was great.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I love
Wow.
hardcore shows. And then and then you go to like a
I love hardcore. I mean, I love hardcore is like what am I? Especially like 90s hardcore, but yeah.
Oh. And then,
that shit's like the shows are crazy.
You go to a black metal show and then it's really just like a bunch of like dudes in corpse paint really doing a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like it's just they're sort of standing there just headbanging, throwing their goat and calling it good.
Yeah, I'm a slam dance kind of person. I love just like throwing myself around and just crowd surfing or circle pit. When people start throwing kicks, that's what I'm like. All right,
nice.
I think of something else when you say slam dance. Does anyone else? No.
I mean,
never mind. Let's move on.
You got the dirty mind, Nicole.
Yeah, the film
The
festival.
last time I heard that word, it just was associated with something dirty. I didn't know there was another. I don't know. You're expanding my mind tonight, so thank you very much for expanding my dirty brain. So yeah, that's how I'm doing, guys.
Well, since since you've been talking
nonstop.
Anyway,
nonstop. That's how
how's it hanging out? Nashville.
It's been a stressful week, but good nevertheless. We're still in post on Weird Ear, so we're working through a couple of edits. We're trying to get things going, and it's a process. You know what I mean? It's a process. We're coming up on version 3.0, which hopefully we'll have done in the next maybe 5 days or so is what I'm targeting. I'm trying to mix some sound on some scenes that I've been working on, which is a clusterfuck for me. It's I thought I was a slow editor until I started playing with sound, and then I realized I am a snail. Yeah.
That's why there's you get sound people,
No, man, no. Then I have to turn over a drive. I have to send more files, and then it's like it's like a 10-year process at that point. You know what I mean? So I do it myself, and we'll get it done eventually. But other than that, dude, like that's taken up a lot of my time. The new dog.
How's the puppy?
Yeah.
How's it going? Yeah, John, I don't even know if Ben got a new puppy. He just keeps finding dogs. I don't know if you know
I saw his Instagram. It was like, you got another dog. First of all, cutest dog, by the way.
Yeah, they're so cute.
She's adorable. She is absolutely adorable. Her name is Loretta Non, and she fucking, I don't even know where she is right now. She's probably with Jen in the bedroom. She's awesome. I think she and Leroy are very much becoming fast friends. Like Leroy, he's kind of touchy if you touch his stuff. He doesn't like other dogs taking his toys. He doesn't like sharing. But he will give her the rope so they can pull the rope together, and he drags her across my floor. The other day, the last 2 days, me and Jen have taken him out on walks, right? And not only does she keep up with him, but she is stuck to his fucking side. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. Cute.
And he shows her all the best places to pee.
Nice.
He shows her like which patches of grass to roll around in, and she
This is the
primarily
whole fence I sneak out in.
which holes in the fence, which actually nobody's gotten out of any of those recently. I put up more chicken wire, so
Oh, there you go.
Good.
yeah. But it's good. It's like a mixed bag. I'm kind of what do you call that? Like a little scattered this past week. I did get a few late night phone calls, Nicole and John. I don't know if
Oh, I did hear
I
about
didn't.
This.
that. I thought I said was funny and no one responded about it. And we'll get to that.
Yeah, no. I got a couple of late night phone calls from James, friend of the show, Reeves. They were out having a big old time, and
Look, it's just one of those nights, man. You know, it was a Thursday night. We're like, hey, we just finished watching Zach and Nico crush it, you know, doing some stand up. And we're like, you know what? Like, let's go to the Myrtle Pub, you know, $5 beer and shot combos. Like, you know, one few drinks. What's like, how can this night go that long? It's Thursday, right? 5 a.m. around.
Like,
Reeves
fun.
buying shots like for everybody because the shots are really cheap. So he just kept saying over and over again. He's like, "It's all right. It's cheap. The beers are so cheap." He just kept buying rounds for people, and then
Fun.
yeah, they called Ben and we debated how big his penis is.
yeah,
So why? Like not like how did it begin?
I barely remember. I totally forgot I called him until Ben just mentioned it.
no, like legit, like this was the whole thing. At one point, I'm talking with Reeves and James. Reeves was invited to no longer go back to that bar. I don't think I'm telling you guys anything he wouldn't tell you. And then ultimately, I got yet another call later that night where, so we hung up once they got back to the apartment. Then they called me back from the apartment, and everybody was like watching BTS, wanted to
I
talk.
remember that was all Reeves too. He was like, "We're gonna call him right now." It's like, "We just called him." He's like, "No, I'm calling him right now."
And when I picked
I
up
have so many questions.
the phone, do you know what he says? Literally, I hear him say, no, it's okay. He's in Central Time. It's an hour earlier there. It's not that late. And then I'm like,
When it's
hello.
like 3 a.m. here.
But that's when it started about my penis, and then the rest of it just went to Ben, his dick, and where are we going from there?
Okay, we were just nothing but compliments,
No.
though. Okay, we were just saying. You know, I said 8
Wait, so
inches
have you-
last.
Sorry, no, go on. I have so many questions. I can barely keep them together. I'm gonna burst. But go
A
on.
lot of questions for the drunk people that had no idea what they were doing.
Well, I mean, because you could still answer this question. Have you even seen Ben's dingaling?
No, out of all my friends' penises that I have seen,
So like,
Ben-
that's why I don't even like. I mean, this part you can't answer. But where
penises I haven't seen.
did this come from? I mean, which I guess you guys can't answer.
I don't know. You know, we're all secretly want to see Ben's penis. Maybe that's where like, when you're drunk and your inner thoughts, like inner feelings, come out.
I guess that's
Hashtag
it.
Let's See Ben's Penis 2023.
I mean, listen, yeah, hashtag Ben's penis 20. Thank you, John.
So I want all of our audience to know that this hilarious thing that I said in our text chat was ignored. So I'm gonna say it again. How nice that you guys like talk up your friends' dicks. Like I feel like societally, like out in the world, there's like an animalistic like competition amongst men of like who has the biggest dick, who has the biggest truck, who has the biggest
And
house.
me and Reeves are like, nah, it's Ben.
Yeah, and you guys are such nice friends that you're like, I'm gonna call my friend and just tell him I think his dick is big and amazing. That is so. Those are friends you keep around. Like there is no competition there.
You hear that, Ben? You got to keep us around.
I
That is
mean,
the
listen,
most thing.
It's like when you saw Jen, throw the dudes around the pit. It's the same feeling where you're like, I got to keep these guys around.
I'm not gonna lie, it was all very flattering, but then I started to get notes also, like, so I don't know if
Notes.
well, I don't know if you
That.
guys know this or not, but Derek then called me because
Oh, 'cause you also called Derek too.
You
To call-
called
oh,
Derek
to ask-
about my penis. And then from there, like, Derek calls me, and I was just like, Derek, I don't know what you tell him. He goes, no, man, I'm going to tell him you showed me your dick and that it's everything they think it is and everything they want it to be. And I was like, whatever, dude. Okay. And then so...
Well, that's very.
Defending you like we're arguing or something, like like we're all in agreement.
Yeah, that's true. No one. That's a good point. Everyone's on the same page. Apparently.
And again, I think it's very, very kind. And now, so the next morning, and this is really like, and I'll end with this because this has gone on way longer than I'd ever intended.
I do have to say one more thing after this, but go.
Please,
Go ahead.
no, go for it.
Wait, don't you have something to say? You can say your thing.
So here's what happens. The next morning, I start getting like private messages from Reeves, like again about my dick, to a point. Not only was chat asking, but he was then sending me also personal messages like about my dick. And at one point, he tried to flip it and reverse it to a point to where he's like, I don't even want to know anymore. I don't even want to know anymore. Just don't even bother telling me. Just don't. Whatever. And it was like he.
So then you have to defend yourself and
so
tell
he
him.
starts like doing reverse psychology, or trying to, and I just.
Like when Bugs Bunny, you know, like does the reverse psychology on like Daffy Duck or Elmer Fudd or whatever.
Exactly what it is. Yeah, solid.
Welcome to the show, John Silecchia.
No, this is the introduction I hope I got.
This is better than most weeks, I'll say. I want to say something. Wait. Ben, say something. I love how Ben's reaction to Reeves and James complimenting his dick is just thank you and not like complimenting their dicks back. Like just thank you.
Because we know we're in the presence of greatness. And also Ben has seen Reeves' dick, so you know.
Multiple at this point, multiple times.
Have you watched Adapter so many times or what?
Well, no, there was Adapter, and then there was like New Year's Eve. He took it out in a phone call, and then there was like the other day he sent like a video that had the tip of it in it. Like I've seen enough of Reeves' penis. I don't.
Also, in your sometimes when we were filming Where Dear.
Oh yeah, well that's also
What?
yeah.
I was not there, which is probably good for me.
Well, besides everyone's dicks, 40 minutes into this goddamn show. Well, so I'm glad the puppy's awesome.
Yes,
Ben.
Yeah, things are well.
No, I mean everything's been alright on my end. I hadn't really done shit except I did see Cocaine Bear this week. Oh, I guess besides also telling Ben how big his dick is, I did see Cocaine Bear this week. No, it was alright. Like it was fine.
I feel like
It's
there's
funny.
some joke to be made there about Cocaine Bear and Ben's dick, and I haven't found it yet. So if anyone can think of it in the chat, please feel free. But that is. What do you think of it?
I said it was alright. Anyone
I
else see
did.
it? Cocaine Bear?
I thought
You did see it?
I
Did you
liked
like
it. I felt like they had too many plot points, like too many story arcs going on. It really.
Yeah. My theory is that it was just, the CGI bear is expensive. So they had to fill it with more banter, less killing. But the bear killing was awesome. The whole from the sheriff's office into the ambulance, that whole sequence was fucking.
No, that part was really sick. I like that, but also Ray Liotta's character, I really liked a lot.
Yeah, shout out to Ray Liotta. Yeah. Goddamn. His
His
last movie.
Cocaine Bear.
Wow, rest in peace. Wow, powerful movie to. Yeah, wow.
And the audience we saw it with was going crazy. And I feel like if you don't watch or work on the shit that we always do, then this movie is mind blowing to you.
Yeah.
Oh, here's witty banter and the weird gross blood and crazy bear doing drugs. When that's a Tuesday at Troll.
That's a good point. That's actually a really good point. Is it streaming? Do you know if it's streaming anywhere?
No, it's still in theater, so not yet.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't think you need to go rush to go see it if you really want to. But when you go watch it on streaming, you'll get it. You'll get everything you want from it.
That's the thing is like I do want to see it, but okay, then I'll wait till it's streaming somewhere. Cool, awesome.
Yeah. So other than that, nothing crazy. Couple wrestling shows. But speak of, see, I'm not good at this. This is why I need Leo.
Well,
because
I'll tell you what. Here's what it was. You and Reeves were out on a very drunken and grim adventure the other night. That's if the topic of conversation turns to my penis, it is a very grim adventure.
That's right. Yeah. You're talking about the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, a show I haven't watched, and I couldn't tell you fucking 20-something years probably. I mean, it's really been a while. Even though I've had HBO Max, I still haven't gone around to check it out. But I watched the fuck out of this show when I was younger. And John, you picked the show. So what made you pick the show?
I mean, just from a general point of, being a part of trauma, I would say this show kind of molded where me as a creator, filmmaker, even just like how I approach media. Yeah, it's a very personal show where it's like, especially from like just general monster movies, but also like that really offbeat comedy. To me, that appealed to me the most. Especially like growing up. You had Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Disney Channel. It's like what shows are going to be like are you going to go to? To me, it was always Billy and Mandy. Just personal favorite. It was just dumb good comedy.
And it's horror based, which is also such a rare kids card thing to do. It's it was what, this, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Invader Zim.
Yeah.
Right? And that was all around. But with this show, it's just such an interesting concept. But what if these two kids controlled death, and someone just greenlit it?
Yeah, it's dark.
I mean, Nicole, you watched this show, right? You grew up with this show?
So, I grew up with this show. I didn't watch it a lot. And I was, having a midlife crisis this week, so I didn't get to watch a lot of it. But I think the concept is great. I wish I could just, chill out for a fucking second the past few days and watch it, because I think the concept is great. Even just, a bunch of kids hanging out with, death. That's so deep. It's kind of like Coco-esque in a way. Actually, I don't even know if it's like Coco, but yeah, I think the show is awesome.
Yeah, I guess I can see the Coco.
Right, kids being comfortable with the idea of I don't know, something.
No one on Coco is like Mandy. Though,
yeah,
because Mandy's a fucking firecracker, man. I'd be scared to hang out with her, but also I want to hang out with her. I want that to be my best friend.
See, I feel like you would be more like an Irwin, James. I think low-key you would be harboring this love for the very terrifying goth girl.
But she's not even that gothy.
Well, she's just a bitch.
Evil.
She's just a bitch.
Because you guys, what is it? The Keeper, Reaper, it's the trial of Billy and Mandy.
Yes.
Because they show Mandy's parents for the first time.
Yep.
And they're terrified of her. That's what they say.
I loved that. I don't even, what is it the mother says? I don't even look her in the eye most of the time. I can't look at her, but what does that say about moms and I guess preteen and teen girls? Do you know what I mean? Because isn't there usually a period of time where I don't know.
Oh, you can answer that question. Were your parents terrified of you at all?
I could. Also, I'm eating dill pickle flavored cashews. So far,
everyone's always eating on this show.
What?
But also the weirdest fucking snack I could possibly pull out my ass. Okay, yeah, I am one of 3 girls. I mean, I just heard about it all the time. I just heard about it all the time. Wow, raising 3 girls. Wow, it's a lot. I think teenage girls are terrifying. I think teenagers are terrifying. You know what I mean? I don't want to mess with them. They're fearless.
Yeah, teenagers are scary. If I see teenagers walking past you, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I don't, because I was fearless at that age. I mean, what did I have to lose? I don't know. I get it. My poor parents. I'm so sorry, Mom and Dad. Thank you for still loving me.
Yeah, John, were your parents scared of you at all?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, they should be, but they're not. So I don't know if that speaks to me or my parents.
That's
You were a
hysterical.
golden child. Your
Sure.
parents were probably
I would say bronze.
okay.
So would you say you're more like on the Billy side?
A little bit. I wouldn't say
Like
that's
crazy
stupid,
kid?
but
Or maybe like just like the energy, because I would say like my brother was definitely like the Billy kid of just like I want to be annoying as possible to everyone around.
I could see. I love your brother, and I think your brother's amazing. I could see that for him as a kid. That's very
Yeah.
funny.
That's why now he's a politician.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wait, your brother, or are you making a joke about the show?
No, my brother, he's like legitimately trying to be. He's in Washington right now doing something.
What? That's so cool.
Working for some senator, I think. Something like that.
That is awesome. Wow. I did not realize your brother was doing that. That's really badass. Good for him.
So that's why your brother's not listening to the show.
Yeah. Exactly.
Busy
Got
like
it.
yeah. Wow.
But you can listen to him. He's on he's on my first Mixo dip.
Oh,
so
that's
you can
right.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I had to pull his leg to get him on there too. But so yeah, I mean, so like saying, yeah. So John, would you say you're more like, were you like the crazier kid when you were younger?
I would also say I was more reserved. I mean, I hate to say it, but probably more like an Erwin in a sense, where I was just really, I don't want to. How do I describe it? Like more like reserved, more like to myself. I was never really much of a wild child, so it was hard for me to really relate.
That's what my mom tells me. She was like, you just would just sit there. All right. I guess that makes sense because that's just what I do now, you know?
Aw, that's adorable. My poor mother. Sorry, because I was a flower girl when I was like 7, and like every photo of my mom at the wedding was just like her stone cold, like exhausted because I was bouncing off the wall. I was a very energetic kid.
So to that end, Nicole, I share a very similar sort of. I wasn't a flower girl. I was a ring bearer at a wedding when I was.
You love the attention, right?
I think I was either 5. I think I was 5, and the only memory I have 2 memories. One being very upset the entire time. I hated it. But before that, when they told me what I was going to be doing, I I quoted my father to both my father and my mother, and they're like, "And here's your little suit, and here's your little tie," and I was like, I told him I'm not wearing a damn tie because I had heard my dad say that so many times coming up, because like during that time is when he was sort of transitioning from working for other people to working for himself, and the big thing he hated was wearing a damn tie, and both of them just looked at me like, what? And then Dad was like, he figured it out.
So cute. That's
I ain't wearing a damn tie. Well, I wore the tie.
A little kid acting like a seasoned like adult man. I'm tired of the man. I'm not wearing a damn tie.
I don't need the damn stinking tie.
Yeah, no, didn't want it, didn't need it, had to wear it, did it anyway. Yeah.
Aw. Yeah, so you're an only child. I am the oldest child. So I feel like similar energy where I like demanded my parents' attention. You know? Like I was like, no, I was here first. Like, you know what I mean?
Were you an only child for a bit, or did your sister come when you were already young? Didn't realize.
When I got the age wrong, that I was a flower girl. I was a flower girl at age like 4 because my sister was like 1.
Nice.
I'm 3 years older than her. Yeah, so I had like 3 years of like getting Winnie the Pooh VHS tapes brought home to me every day. You know what I mean?
My brother was 8 years younger than me, so I had like literally a full 8 years of life of like, man, this rules, you know?
That's a different story. 8 years, you're like first grade. You know what I mean? Like you're like in school.
That's what I'm saying. I got to enjoy life, and apparently I wanted a brother, and then you get one.
That's funny.
But John,
I do. I have one sister. Currently, she.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met your sister.
Yeah, younger or older?
Old. Actually, younger. Because I was 97, she was 99.
Oh, okay, so close in
Nice.
age too. Cool. Nice.
So you didn't get to experience the the only child life.
I did not. Like, it just like flew over me. So I'm just, again, for most of my life, I was just so used to it. But now she just left and moved to upstate New York. So now it just feels weird. It's like she's not home.
Right. Yeah.
97. Dude, you were a year old.
What were you doing in 97, Ben?
Yeah, I was a junior going into my senior year of high school. I graduated in 98. So depending on the time of year, I was either finishing my junior year or I was starting my senior year of high school. So like, yeah. What are we doing? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Ben is always here with the 90s kids, the poor man, because James and I were born.
Well, that's, that was the, it's funny. I was looking at our Spotify analytics, and our entire the majority of our listen base exists from the ages of 25 to 45.
Wait, that's kind of amazing. We got range.
Nice.
Is it mostly men? Yeah. Do you know?
It is mostly men.
I knew it. There's like jazz and like Jen.
You gotta. It's not total, like a huge eclipse, but it's not 50-50 either.
That does not surprise me. I just need to hear it, from you. Thank you everyone for listening, no matter who you are. Appreciate you.
And John, and thanks for hanging out with this. Now, were you? Because I didn't remember you ever talking about being an animator. When we met on Shitstorm and Taquitos and like all the stuff we've done, I don't remember you once being like, "Oh yeah, I'm also an animator." I've never until Ben was like, "Oh yeah, John's doing something for Weird Ear," and I was like, "What?"
So this all started. Well, it's a little bit. So there's what happened in middle school, and then with the pandemic. So going back, I think I mentioned this earlier. I was friends with this guy I'm actually still friends with him to this day. God, what was I going to say? I'm friends with this guy who I went through elementary, middle school, and high school with. He's a professional animator. His name's his YouTube is Cheeto Studios. He makes a lot of online content, right? So I grew up hanging around him as he started to do the cartoons, and I really wanted to originally back in middle school be an animator, but I just didn't have the patience for it back then. So once I got into high school and trying to figure out what I want to do for a career, I kind of abandoned it, and I just never really did anything with it. I mean, I've always had it in the back of my mind. I've done little test animations here and there, but it wasn't until the pandemic when no one was doing film shoots anymore. I was like, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So what did you? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you not finished? I'm so sorry. I was going to ask you a question.
I was pretty much done, but continue.
What I saw on your IMDb that you did work on Shitstorm. I assumed it was animation. It's funny. I must have grazed by it. So what did you do on #Shakespeare?
I was a production assistant for that film.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
One of my guys. One of my dudes. Was it
nice?
Was it me or Leo who got you on? Remember?
I think it was you. I think you, because I remember we bonded. Because again, we're both from Long Island, so I was like, hey,
yeah. Oh yeah, Nicole's from Long Island.
I am too. Yes, I am from Long Island as well. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm from.
As much as I shit on Long Island.
I know. I try. I'm not gonna say it because I do sometimes hate on Long Island, but I'm from the North Shore, Nassau County, bougie area.
I am not from Long Island.
Yeah.
Spent one Thanksgiving there.
I mean, don't get me wrong, John. Long Island has cool parts. I don't know. I live in California now. I live a very different lifestyle than I did. I think I just wanted something completely different. But I mean, it's accessible to New York City, which is you really can't beat that. It's funny. I used to shit on the LIR. I didn't literally shit on the LIR, but I used to hate on the LIR.
I mean, there are people who shit on the LIR. Let's be real here.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe I did, but looking after being far enough removed, I'm like, oh, the LIRR is actually kind of great. More public transportation should be like the LIRR, honestly. Accessibility wise. I don't know. So I guess you're born and raised on Long Island, right? I don't want to diss Long Island.
No, dude. I feel like that's again, growing up on Long Island, you kind of resent it just a little bit, where it's just it sucks. It does. What are you
Because
gonna
it's like a
do?
suburban sprawl, and there's not like, I mean, all three of us are like artists, right? There's not a lot of the arts. I mean, Huntington, it's thriving, which is very cool. I like Huntington Village a lot. But
Yeah, that's Long Island for you.
I don't know.
It's just, yeah.
But it's
It's
cool to hear you're having a nice time there, John, because you're getting work in like New York and stuff.
There's some dogs shuffling over there.
Yeah, it's the thing. I remember working with John on Shitstorm. We made some joke signs for the protest scenes. I remember showing him how to make some Tempest at one point,
Yes,
and
we
then
did.
setting him to task on that. Art department sort of took John over at some point.
What made you? I always ask this question to everyone who's been on Shitstorm. Like, what made you do it? In general, because it's always the worst deal I've ever offered anybody.
So, originally, I was an intern in 2017.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah, I was there
pre-Shitstorm.
pre-Shitstorm.
Oh, I didn't know.
So, and how, just to get some context, how I got involved with that, I don't remember if I gave John Brennan my resume or I just went up to him, but I said, I would like to intern with Troma. And he's like, here's my email me. And I did, and I got
Nice.
this one editing project, and I finished off my sophomore year. I actually was able to take a class through my college where they would be like, yeah, you can do an internship. So I was able to get an
Nice.
internship credit through Troma.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, good.
It was, again, a great experience. Again,
Cool.
I just want to say, like, anyone who, is iffy about film, lives like somewhere in like New York City, I highly recommend interning with Troma first. And if you don't like that, then film's not for you. Or if you do like that, then go further in that career. But to get back to the original point, so around that time during the summer, they were talking about Shakespeare Shitstorm. Then I think there was a casting call, not like a casting call, but like a crew call. And I was like,
Yeah.
So I reached out, I was like, hey, I was an intern in like 2017. I'm interested in helping out again. And I think, James, you messaged me. And they said, why don't you come down to the shit house, which was in Astoria. So I did. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm sold. I'm good to be a PA on this production. And the rest is history.
Yeah, and you were there for a while too. I mean, and did you think that you'd still be talking to all the schmucks?
I
after?
did. I don't say this very often, especially with crews, but the Troma crew was probably the best crew I think I've ever genuinely worked with. Like, outside of like, like my home crew, but like Troma crew was like the best.
Yeah, I always say this every time I talk about Shitstorm, but there really isn't a movie that's changed my life in a way that Shitstorm did. Like literally look at everything we're doing, all the people in the chat. Like it's literally because I took John's offer when he told me I was fucked. John Brennan. When he told me I was fucked, and like here we are, and it's like I've worked on now a ton of movies, but tons of different crews. Couldn't tell you the single person's name. That some people have obviously we've had on the show and I've talked here and there, but like nothing is like hey, here's your apartment, here's a job from it, podcast. Like it's crazy.
And bro, even on some of those shoots too, it's like the more memorable ones for me have included people from Shitstorm, like reenactment. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Anytime I'm around you guys is so much better.
John, you know this because you worked on Shitstorm. I did not work on it. I always regret it though. I always wish I did because it sounds like a hell of a time. I get to live vicariously through you all by hearing stories. But James and I know each other from like Long Island way back. So it's kind of how
Your first film buddy.
Yes, that's true. Talked about
You were like, I act, and I was like, cool, because I'm about to go direct something. So if you want,
Yeah. Oh my God, adorable.
Make it happen.
So cute. Yeah.
And then John, we did Taquitos, which was a good time. That was like, when I did Taquitos, I had done like a few other sound gigs before that, but I stopped because of Troma, because that was like pretty close after Troma, right?
It was
that
actually
March?
today. I think would be the second day we actually filmed of Taquitos.
Oh
Yeah, because I always forget if I did Taquitos or Wetworks first, but I think I did Taquitos first.
Yes, because
Nice. And
Because
Taquitos.
Wet Works was later March, right, Ben? That was like later March.
Yeah, we did Dougie's thing in February of 2019.
Right. So,
Yeah.
right.
Kabuki Man Returns. We did that. And then you guys went to do go do Taquitos. Derek and I tried to get some kind of script together for Wet Works, and then we went from there. Which, much like this cartoon, it was its own sort of special horror show.
I know. Are we going to talk about this?
I know we're going off the rails a bit, but I do want to get back. I mean, Taquitos was just like, that was a fun time. It was an early sound gig of mine, and now it's like, that was the first thing I worked to with Sam Zhang. He shot that, and we all just kind of kept doing shit after that. So it's like, no, that's like a cool like base memory that I hold on to.
I still think about it to this day. Like again, I think at least not to deviate from the podcast. We'll just go for like a little bit, but like
no, go for it.
Like
we all do it.
Again, making Taquitos was very Billy and Mandy like. It was just like, oh, what if like food just started attacking people? I was thinking about.
Oh, that is an episode. That feels like an episode.
There you go.
Yeah. So again, kind of with that mindset in mind, I was like, why not just make a horror comedy? Because again, around this time in like college, everyone was making drama films, and I was just, I don't want to make drama.
Yeah.
I just want to make the stupidest thing possible, and I did.
Hell yeah. I appreciate it. I remember that because I had that same idea when I did my thesis. So it was just about my friends talking about masturbating, hanging out in the basement. So like So I remember you were telling me you did Taquitos. I was like, this is great. Because I had just left film school, I think the year before that, or 2 years, or a year and a half, whatever. And I was like, thank God. Because, everybody else had fucking these dumb... Not like maybe they weren't bad, but it was just, doing drama.
There's definitely like a cliche, right? You know what I mean? Like, and like you said, they're not bad, they're not dumb, but you're right.
And you also,
student films
it wasn't a split personality movie either, because that's another big cliche. Drama piece where someone has like a split personality.
Yeah, because every film kid watches Fight Club for the first time, aka me. I did that, right? You know what I mean? Like in college, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Spoiler for anyone that hasn't seen it. Anyway, yes.
Did you guys when you guys were making your first films at school, were they shot on film? Did you ever have to shoot on
I did.
No.
Yes.
No.
I have shot on film.
So my first shorts were all on film, like 16 millimeter. So Nicole only knows my pain as far as like having to load the Bell and Howl.
And editing? Oh, forget it.
No,
cutting film?
I loved it. Loved it. That was my favorite part.
Touching it is like great because it's like, oh my god, this is like a product that I made. Like, I know, sorry, that sounded kind of dirty, but like, but editing on the computer is no doubt easier. I hate to say that, but it's
easier, and it's also significantly more forgiving. If you make an error, there's a lot less tape.
Yes.
There's a lot less, hassles. There's a lot less razor blades and all of that stuff involved. But my first film was it was about a person going to get a newspaper out of the newspaper machine and finding dog poo on the paper. That was really like the nuts and bolts of it. And I shot that on 16.
Nice.
Had to get it developed, and then my next I elevated after that, and my next short was about a girl eating a peanut butter sandwich and choking, and then the girl saving her by doing the Heimlich maneuver, and they give each other a high five and a thumbs up, and then they both fuck off.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's.
I was in friends like films shot on film. I don't know where they are. They could not exist on the internet for all I know. I made a film that I screened at Power Hour, James's film screening.
The octopus, right?
Yeah, it was about like a clown, like a female clown that felt misunderstood.
I thought it was the octopus one.
There's also that. That was a stop motion. I was much cooler back in the day. Instead of like scrolling Instagram, I was like making stuff. Like a stop motion movie about a sad octopus on like my dishwasher. Like, who was that person? That person was cool. But anyway, yeah, so there was that. Good memory. And then there was, like, one where this girl who looks like me, actually, shout out to my friend Laura, and she was, like, a clown, and she was, like, wiping off her makeup. I could send it to you guys if you want. That was shot on... I shot that on film. I hand-developed that, you know? So any of, like, the blotches you see is because the chemicals didn't, like, develop right. Film rules, like celluloid film rules.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, film's cool, but I always will prefer digital world. Sorry.
It's so much easier. It really is. You can't. John, when you were at school, were you working on like strictly digital?
Yeah, all digital.
Too?
Like every project, digital.
It does make sense. It does make sense.
Yeah, we had one class where we had film, and then they couldn't, whatever place was processing it, just couldn't do it, and we're like, all right, I guess we're never seeing that footage.
That's the thing, because then scanning it was another. It's also expensive, you know.
Yeah, I think that was probably part of it. Now I do want to go back to the show because I've got Joey K here up in the chat. He brought up something interesting that I just remembered, that the whole show starts because fucking Grimm loses a limbo contest to Billy and Mandy.
Yes.
And he tries to kill their hamster.
Yeah.
And that's also like on HBO, that's episode like 10, 11. Like, and it's a totally different animation style too. Not totally different, but just looks different.
The reason why that is, because so the short Meet the Reaper was made for, I don't think it was What a Cartoon, but it was like but back in like, I want to say like 2001, 2001, Cartoon Network was doing like Pick the Pilot, and and Billy and Mandy was the one that eventually won.
So he made it like on his own, like that's what it looks like, that he made it even without Cartoon Network money.
No,
pitched it.
So technically this was made by Hanna-Barbera, and Billy and Mandy. Keeper the Reaper, Meet the Reaper was the last product made by Hanna-Barbera before it got dissolved into Cartoon Network. So
really,
yes.
So that's why the short looks different than the rest of the show.
So then, and that's the other thing, and I know they show up in a lot of the different sort of cartoons across Cartoon Network and that kind of stuff, but is that why you see a bunch of those older sort of Hanna-Barbera characters pop up throughout this show?
Most likely. Like, I know, like, in Keeper of the Reaper, there's Scooby-Doo. An episode I don't think I listed. It was, I forgot the name of the episode, but it's the one where where the elves and the dwarves are fighting because they're having cookies.
Yeah.
And there's Yogi Bear, like, cracked out of his eye.
Yep.
Yeah, he's literally Cocaine Bear before Cocaine Bear. Like, he's like fiended for picnic baskets.
Well,
he has like the red bloodshot eyes.
there's also the tall dog with the little small hat at one point. I forget what episode he's in.
Oh yeah, that's like Billy has. Like they say it's like his dog.
Yeah,
or something,
it's
right?
Billy's dog, but that's an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon. There were a couple other ones that I noticed. I do love how they skirted the Keebler elves at one point and how they wrapped that in.
They screwed over the dwarves.
Yep. And I also like a lot that what is it? You see the Smurfs parody and the Schlubs. You see like they play around a lot with cartoons and particularly shows like geared more towards like smaller children, which I think is tremendous. Like this, I thought this show was great. They marry a lot of like, I guess sort of like hard R movies too. Like there was,
the zombie one. I mean, that's like a ton of horror with your references in like one episode.
Yeah, in such a short amount of time, right?
Hey, Hoss Delgado, he's just Ash Williams and Snake Plinkett just into one character, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. The most badass dude ever. Because how do you take Snake Plissken and Ash, who are already the most badass people that exist, and then you combine them together and you get Hoss Delgado, voiced by Batman. I always forget the guy's name.
Will Arnett.
It's not Will Arnett. It's
Is it not?
Fuck. No, it's a dude who does the Batman voice on Harley Quinn, and he's also on Drew Carey show. He was also on. He's Jay and Silent Bob, who's like, ooh, what a lovely tea party.
Diedrich Bader.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah.
Cool.
He sounds like Will Arnett.
I mean, that's probably why they probably casted Will Arnett to sound like him because he was Batman first.
So, like, what is it? There are a few that I really enjoyed, like throughout this whole thing. Fear and Loathing in, is it Edmonton? I think that's the name of the town. That's the one where Death and Dracula.
Ennsville? Is it Ennsville?
Ennsville, Edmonton. Wow. Yeah. Fear and Loathing in Ennsville. Where Death takes Dracula some blood and peanut butter cookies to the old age home, and then Dracula makes Death break him out, where he keeps talking about not being old. Like, there's so much they do with the characters that not only they have and that you see frequently, but even the ones like Dracula where they only touch on him like 2 or 3 times, right? Fucking funniest thing is, like, Dracula is Fred Sanford. I
don't know who Fred Sanford is.
Have you guys ever watched Sanford and Son?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he's the older dad?
Yes. Yeah. I'm coming to join you, honey.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. He's straight up Fred Sanford. He is Red Fox in this. And, like, I don't know, dude. There's too much fun in this whole show. But yeah, like in the other one with Dracula, where he separates out Billy's school into the dummies and the uglies.
Yeah.
That's a straight up Red Fox bit. Like 110%.
Now, did you guys see the episode where Dracula was like, Dracula doesn't suck, he scrapes and licks, blah, 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 blah.
Yes, yeah, that's in both of them. In the Fear and Loathing in Ennsville, he and Death end up out in the desert, and then Death goes on this weird sort of like psychedelic trip, and then like he wakes up the next morning and he's got the scrapes on his bony arm and like his little purple blood's there, and Dracula pops up out of the ground talking about how the skeleton man just, no, please help me all night long. Like, fuck, it's so good. So good. Yeah.
And my favorite is Fred Willard as the boogeyman. You know, that one.
The voice talent on this is unreal. Is absolutely unreal. Like, Tom Kenny's back in everything again.
Yeah, everything. Even the guy who voices Grim is just
Brett
so
Eagles.
good. Yeah. Because he's like, he can have like this really deep kind of like Jamaican accent, and then like when he gets like really annoyed or like worried, his voice will go up like an octave. Like it'll start getting like higher.
Yep. Yep.
And Red Foreman, I think, plays his dad too. Like when you see the Grimm's dad.
Oh, excuse me.
Goes in tight.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
No, yeah, and I said, I mean, I love this show. Like, I remember watching like, because this show would be on it would do the Cartoon Network thing where it'd be on for like 4 hours, and I would watch like the entire marathon because it'd be this, and I don't know if any of you guys, John, you probably remember, it was like this and Evil Con Carne.
Yes, I mean, Evil.
Back to
That's
back.
how it was. Like the original. That's why on HBO Max a lot of the episodes aren't in order, so to speak. So why the first episode is the 10th episode is because Grim and Evil was the original block, but separated and become Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
But they don't track Grim and Evil.
They do have Evil Con Carne.
Yeah, that's like, where the hell is Evil Con Carne? I want to watch that shit. I barely remember that show off the top of my head at all, but I remember that show being so cool because they were literally evil villains.
G.I. Joe, but like except if Cobra was just like an idiot.
Yeah, because you get a little bit, you get some cameos in the show, like the main leader with the scar or whatever. He like lives next to Billy. They do that whole episode of him trying to run away from Billy.
So
you all jogged my memory of Grim and Evil. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that until now. That was just like buried in my brain. That show was entertaining.
Yeah.
Wow.
I forgot about it too until we started doing this. I was like, oh fuck! And I tried to look to see if it was Evil Con Carne was on HBO. And they're like, nah,
I
sorry.
All that stuff's weird, right? Like licensing and legalities and stuff. Darn. I hope that goes on there one day, but I don't know.
Hopefully,
Yeah, Ben, you have no idea what we're talking
Nope.
about, do you?
No idea. Nope. I was way like, what year was this? What year are you talking about?
2001.
04.
Oh,
I was gonna say it wasn't even the 90s anymore.
Yeah, no, I was
It was
already.
the aughts.
We moved to Oregon in 2004. So you guys are still watching your cartoons in high school, and I moved to Oregon or middle school.
I was gonna say
I'm
not
making-
even high
No,
school.
I was in like
Making-
kindergarten.
Yeah, and here I am making fucking life choices. I'm a very old man, John. I'm a very, very old man. But like, so that's the thing. And going through and like watching this, I dig the art style. Like and I know I've touched on it a couple of things. Like, I enjoy the notion of the big outline around the character. I know it's an obvious choice.
Yeah.
But like, I like that. I like the separation from the background. I think that can be a fun thing to sort of play with.
I mean, yeah, John, you're the animator. What do you do? You like having a hard outline around your
It
character?
just makes it easier for me, like especially when anime. It's like, oh, I don't have to do like anything like super special, like especially that I'm still like learning, so to speak. So it's like hard outlines. There it is. I know where my character is.
John, I have a question. I don't mean to put you on the spot, so feel free to think about it. What's your favorite cartoon? If not this one might be. If not, what's your favorite animated show you think?
See, it's hard because like it switches all the time.
That makes sense. Yeah, sorry. That is a hard question because I feel like I never. When someone's like, "What's your favorite movie?" I don't even have an answer. So I don't know.
But if I had to choose,
Sorry to put you on the
I
spot.
think the one that lasted, especially creatively, is Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I think it's
Cool.
just such a dumb show, but it's so simple. And it's not ready
Yeah.
for another season, so.
Yeah, and there's a new movie out too,
but
right? I haven't seen
I
it.
recommend. It's better than the first movie. I highly recommend.
I never seen the first movie either.
What?
But we did talk about Aqua Teen.
Yeah,
You can
early on.
you can find that episode somewhere on Totally Toonular.
Bro, I went to
On
the
Spotify.
theater to see the first Aqua Teen, and when they did the it's the food at the beginning, like, let's all go to the movies, and yes, bro, what, like, so good, like, unreal.
Well then, John, you got to come on again. We'll talk about this Aqua Teen movie. We'll do another double feature. Why not? You know.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
I'm down.
Me too.
Now,
Fun.
I do want to talk about my favorite character because roommate Bergio reminded me of him that I forgot that he even existed, and that's Fred Burger.
Fred Burger.
Fred Burger. He's just like the most ridiculous special thing I've ever watched in my life. Like, it's just like when the Grimm has like the competition, you know, to descendant, like everyone's got to write an essay, and like he's like, look at all these essays I got.
I
And they all
like
just say
frozen
the same
yogurt.
thing of, like, yeah, and he spells with an E, so it's like
Yogurt's
yogurt.
like. But like my favorite thing about Fred Burger was in the Keeper of the Reaper episode where he just keeps like interrupting the entire. Chorus. I have to go poo poo. Yes.
So funny.
The poo poo scene. The poo poo scene is my favorite because he's just like, I gotta go poo poo, and then it cuts to him in the toilet, and he's just like, Fred Burger, Fred Burger, Fred Burger.
So this show had way more like shit stuff in it than I ever thought would have been imaginable.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, I was thinking about you the whole time. Every time there was a fart joke or a butt shot.
in the Boogeyman episode, the kid farts in the tub and he's like, "Oh, did I do that?" Like he doesn't even know what comes out of his own butt. The one that got me though. So when Mandy does all of her like little bits, but after the theme and then before the show actually starts, right? Like she does this thing. The fucking really just it made me so happy, and I forget what episode it opens in, but in that voice of hers, she goes, "Push the button, pull the chain, out comes the chocolate choo-choo train," and that's all about taking a shit.
Oh my gosh.
It
That's
was
awesome.
so fucking funny. Like I laughed so hard. But like, and I know we're still in this very much, but like, hands down, not on the list. I don't think anyway. But I saw it, and I was like, it started up after one I had watched, and I just couldn't turn away. And it was one simply titled Duck.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
That's a great title.
Oh my god. A duck that farts that ruins everybody's life that gets around it. Like, what is it? He ends up in jail, and that guy's like, the last guy in here, he's not here no more because he farted. I can't take. And he's.
Do you remember how he ended up in jail?
Oh fuck no! It was more farts.
Because he kept farting with like he was giving something to these kids, and then like the duck kept farting. He's like, no, I don't have any bowels, and he like rips off his like robe or whatever. And he's like, look, I'm just a skeleton. Look at me, and the cop immediately like walks up behind him.
You can't be doing that. Like,
but then what? And then it goes to Mandy, who's just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
When she's in the library and the librarian comes up to her, little girl, that's not ladylike or whatever the fuck she says to her, and she's like, you can't do that in here. What, I can't study for my test? I can't read what are you telling me I can't do? Ooh, and then the duck's just sitting there farting away. I love it. Yeah, this show, I mean, listen, man, as far as like fart jokes go, this one like lays into it in a very fun.
My favorite fart joke in it. It's a small joke. It's the one I think it's in the list too. It's the fairy tale one, or like the one they go into like the fairy tale book. It's like literally the last bit of it. After Pinocchio, they turn Pinocchio into a chair after he tries to eat Billy. Because for him to become a boy in this one, he has to consume his flesh. And he literally says that in the episode. And then Mandy turns him into a chair, like a wooden chair, and then brings him to the witch from the Hansel and Gretel. And then she sits on the chair, and he's like terrified because she's got a big ass. And he's like, ah. And then she sits on it. The chair flattens, and she farts like immediately.
Good for her.
It's like, do you got a favorite fart joke in this?
Me?
Silecchia.
Not really, to be honest. But if we're speaking of favorite jokes, just in general, Chocolate Sailor, where they're going through all the antidotes, and it's just like something caramel cream, an antidote, and Billy just eats the entire package.
He's like, no one's ever eaten the full assortment before. And then he just explodes. Like, how many times has Billy just died? Like, just straight up, just died in the show. Like, he always blows up.
Yeah, I like how there's a loose continuity. Like in their one episode, they all get eaten by like a giant snake. The next one, they're just fine. Like, I love that whole.
Yeah, and you're right. There's the one where she turns into the giant alien meteor thing at the end of the episode.
With brains. Yeah, brains.
What a nice song. That was a good song,
that was
too.
by Voltaire, right?
I think so. I just know there's the episode of it's like Rocky Horror or something.
Oh, Little Rock of Horror.
Rock of Horror. Yeah, Little Rock of Horror. That's what it was. Yeah. That was a good episode. But yeah, fuck. Now I forgot what I was gonna say.
I'll talk about my favorite fart joke. Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah, what you got a favorite fart joke? What you got?
Not
Nicole?
from this show. Can I talk about my favorite fart joke of all time?
Just ignore the entire show.
I know.
Completely.
Fine, we know that. Fine, we don't have to talk about it.
What is it? What's your favorite fart joke?
Okay, fine. I'll keep it fast. So, do you guys like Dumb and Dumber?
Of course.
Okay, cool. I'm hanging out with the right people. Good. The part where Lloyd lifts up his butt and like lights a fire and farts and everyone's like really impressed. Like all these like really bougie skiers are like really impressed by him and like crack up. Do you guys remember this, or is this really fucking weird that I remember this part of the movie?
It's been a while since I watched.
You guys don't remember this? Okay, I'm just a weirdo that remembers a niche fart joke in Dumb and Dumber. Don't mind me. Hilarious bit.
Well, and any of this that you did see, Nicole, I mean, any of this stand out? I mean, you got a favorite bit, favorite character?
Oh, I don't fucking know. Okay, it's a cliche, but I love Grimm. I love Grimm. What a likable Death. What a likable Death character. Like,
And like, I just love that these kids just piss him off so much, and then as the show progresses, he just like, I feel like it starts off with him like really, like, it's like the bit of him being annoyed more, but then I feel like as the show's progressed, he just kind of like he's just there and just accepts it after a while.
yeah, he's like, I feel like I remember watching the show when I was younger and being like, that'd be like a good friend to have, which is like so funny that I thought that about a character that's like named Grimm and like is Death. But
No, I do want to bring up, I remember watching it as a kid and like fucking hating Billy so much because how mean that he treated Jeff the spider.
Yeah, he like. Well, I know he was like a bigger actor.
So mean to him. And I was like, I'm watching this shit at like, 12, 11 years old, just being like, what a fucking dick. He's such a nice spider.
Also, I like how like one of the, I think it was like the Wrath of the Spider Queen. I think it's mentioned that like he hasn't paid his child support. He's just like, why don't you die? He's like jabbing him like a giant stick.
Oh, that's in the one where they go to court. That's in the Grimm thing, because it's during the character assassination bit, right? When Mandy tries to, it's before the parents, before her parents show up, and before he brings in everybody to destroy her character, and then she brings in his pets, and like fucking the spider's there, and he does it. Why won't you just die? I want you dead.
And all he wants to do is love him. He just wants his dad to love him.
God, like I don't know, man. Like Billy's not a great kid either, and you couple stupid with sort of like serial killer tendencies, and like you've got you're sort of playing with fire there.
Yeah, for real. I mean, Billy fucking probably causes way more havoc than anything Mandy wants to. Mandy loves to cause havoc, but she has to be like in control. Like Billy is just total chaotic,
Right, and like chaotic neutral to a point of where you have no idea like whose side he's gonna fall on. It's whatever sort of benefits the moment more than anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you really don't know. Like and to go back to the what is it? The Here There Be Gnomes or whatever, or Here There Be Dwarves. Fucking like getting shot into the elves' tree to disable their what do you call it? Their force field that keeps dwarves out, right? The reason that he's into it is because the dwarves are going to do what? Give him some mushrooms? Like,
oh, was it mushrooms, or was it like the cookies that taste like your cat?
oh, it's a cookies. Yes, thank you. Thank you. That tastes like your cat. And he's so into it. Sorry. See, John, this is the problem when you get to be a very old man. You're like, the dwarves were cutting down mushrooms. I can't remember what they were going to give him. It had to have been mushrooms. But you're right. Cookies that taste like your cat. All the ones that you want.
There's like the episode where I forgot who the lady was, but she has like that
Paris.
apple that's gonna like destroy the world. Yeah, and then like the whole episode, you need Billy to. What was it, John? You need Billy to do something
Like
with the
just
apple.
cause chaos.
Yeah, and then he just was like, "Oh, we gotta do it. I gotta go change first," and then gets naked instead. And then he's like, "We gotta do this next," and it's just him in the room staring at paint dry.
Like the jokes are smart. Like those are good jokes. You know what I mean? Like that's if the
and then she runs away, and then he ends up just throwing the apple, and it explodes anyway. I love that's why I love Billy, because I love that like Mandy's my favorite because I love how much of a boss she is, but I do love I wish I could live my life a little bit like Billy and just not give a fuck that much, like to really just be that much of a chaotic neutral, to just do whatever I want.
Live
Nice.
your world so carefree, to just drift from adventure to adventure.
There's like this scene where he's like talking to Grimm about something, and he's like cutting his toenails that are like, a foot long, and he's like cutting them off and then popping them in his mouth at the same time while he's like talking to Grimm about something else.
So they touch on like a lot of really like gross sort of behavior. There was an episode where and I want to say it's Fear and Loathing in Fear and Loathing. They go, as they're headed to the desert, They end up on a truck, an 18-wheeler, a big black 18-wheeler. And the song that's playing in the background keeps talking about like an angry woman. That's the joke. And it like the sun was harsh outside like an angry woman. Like everything that was bad, it keeps saying like an angry woman. Number I thought that was hysterical. Number two, the driver, either it's a Louis Anderson sound alike or they got Louis Anderson. I have no idea. I didn't do that level of research.
We need Leo for that.
So fucking he's talking about fucking his like all the shit that he's got inside of his semi with him. And then at one point he reaches down like under his seat and pulls out sunglasses that are made from fingernails. And he goes, and don't tell anybody, but when I run out of fingernails, sometimes I use toenails. And so you cut to the end of the episode. They've been traipsing across the desert. At one point, Grimm gets a what's the big sand thing that the Jawas are in? That like sand cruiser that they're in? Because
whatever the fuck, the sand cruiser, the big,
like
the block,
the big block fucking thing. So they get one of those, and then there's a Tusken Raider inside of it. Like it's weird. It's absolutely the craziest thing. But Grimm goes back with Billy and Mandy and Dracula. His adventure is over, and then the cutaway is the Louis Anderson character talking to a Tusken Raider inside of that, going, and sometimes when I run out of fingernails, I use toenails. He's telling him the same. It's the same shit he tells everybody. And I fucking thought that was the best tag. I thought that was the best tag in the whole thing. Like I loved it. Yeah.
John, do you got anything gross stick out to you from the show?
There was one episode where I don't remember the name, but Billy had like a pretzel, right? And like one of those like ice cream scoops. He goes in his nose, gets like a bunch of like boogers, puts it on the pretzel, and just eats it.
So good.
How else do you eat pretzel? Yeah, I'll tell you two things stick out to me the most. One was not something I really understood until roommate John explained it to me, because I guess it happened to him as a kid. But when the bully is it's the episode where Billy gets like a ghost possession in his mouth, and he goes to like help Irwin. Irwin's like, "You're here to save me, Billy," and he bullies Irwin instead. And then the bully gets mad at him because he bullied Irwin, and then does that thing where he like hawks a loogie and like spits it out and then pulls it back up. And I was like confused by that. And John was like, "Yeah, well, that's the thing, like, this happened to me." And like you get held down the ground and they hawk a loogie and they like, almost touches your face and you suck it back up until eventually
Wait,
you can. Yeah.
John Bergio, tell me who did that to you, and I will find their Facebook profile and report their photos.
Wow. What a Karen thing for you to do. Have you guys ever seen, like, did you guys know that? I mean, have you
I have seen that in like movies and stuff. I've seen that.
I had no idea.
I've seen that in movies.
That was disgusting. I was like, damn, like that is gross. And the second thing is something that stuck with me. Like I didn't see the episode watching it. This has stuck with me since I first watched this show. I don't know why it freaked me out so much that it did as a kid. But there's an episode where Billy and Mandy, like, they Freaky Friday each other, and Billy's inside Mandy's body. And at one point he like picks her nose. And then they like Mandy just gets fucking furious, and she just like this monologue that like I just remember where she's just like, "You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you do not pick your friends' noses." And
she's
then
the
like
cat, right?
fucking loses it. Yeah. And then like just fucking loses it on him. And that line has stuck with me for forever. I don't know why, but that particular moment has always stuck with me forever.
She made a good point.
Really good.
You can pick your friends. You can pick your nose. You can't pick your friend's nose.
True that. Well said, Mandy.
So yeah, goddamn, man. I think, and for reals, and like watching the show, it brought the house out. I mean, like both roommate John and roommate Fern, they all came out and just were like, man, I remember this,
Can I
and
say
just kept
something?
watching.
Sorry, no, go on.
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry, this took me a really long time to think of it. If I did Freaky Friday with my friend, I might pick their nose. I might want to be like, what are their boogers like? Would you? No.
I would look at Ben's penis immediately.
I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm not taking the nose picking out of the equation. Is what I mean. Like trade placements.
I don't know how mad Mandy was. It's forever burned in my brain, and I will never do it.
I actually really was upset about it.
Very upset about it.
Like,
We're going.
I would probably put my finger inside of your butts.
I get it. I would love to Freaky Friday with a cis man, just to know what the world is like as a cis man, and to have a dick.
Yeah, I would do the same thing. I want to see what it's like with a vagina and
Yeah. And wouldn't you like put your finger inside your butt? Like sometimes I do that. It's just being me. Like, of course I would do that as
He
you.
doesn't even eat a Freaky Friday, anybody. He just does it
I mean,
himself.
like
just the one thumb, you know.
it gets
Nice.
boring sometimes. Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to switch it up with a new butt.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing.
So give it a try.
And it's not like you're gonna have those memories. And as long as I don't do it in front of you, I don't see why anybody should feel.
You said you don't have those
Friday, you don't
memories.
remember?
Yeah, you would still have the memories.
No.
That's how the movie ends. They're like, they remember being in each other's bodies. That's how they learned the lesson.
No, not how it ends.
That's how they used the fortune cookie. They switch back, and then they learn the lesson of like, oh, this is why I gotta stop being such a shitty teenager. Oh, maybe I should be a better mom. We get each other now.
Right, but what is it?
They remember being in each other's bodies.
No, James. You and I switch bodies. I go off to a room by myself. You're not gonna have the memory of what I did.
Oh
in
yeah,
that
I don't
room.
know. Yeah, I don't know what you did with my body. That's fair.
You're not gonna know what
I
I did
see
with
what you
your
mean.
body. It's not
So,
like it's not like if I put my finger as you inside of my butt, there's gonna be a part of you that's like, ooh, somebody's tickling my butthole, unless you inside of me were tickling my butthole, your butthole in that moment at the same time.
If we ever do some Freaky Friday, I hope I Freaky Friday with you, Silecchia. I hope it's not in any of these goons. I trust you with my butthole over all these other people.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I don't think I want to touch anyone else's butthole, and I don't think I think I would be like, I would want to know what it's like to have a penis and like take that with me for the rest of my life, like with a vagina, know what it's like.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel the same way. Opposite. So,
yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah. One day we'll see if we'll get some magic fortune cookie somewhere.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted if that happens for me, and yeah.
Just let us know.
Yeah. So cool. So
All
you
right,
all
well,
watch this with your roommates. Nice.
Now, before we start wrap it up here, it's kind of going off track a bit, but I do want to talk about
a bit, motherfucker. Really? No, it's the whole.
Well, I do want to talk about the animation stuff for Where Dear. I don't know. I mean, it's up to you guys how much you guys want to talk about it.
No,
spoilers or whatever. But I mean, how did that happen? How did because I said this John, I had no idea you did animation. So how did that wires cross that way? Whoever wants to talk about it.
Hold on. Well, I think it all started because I made a Facebook post that I said I'm finally doing animation after 4 years of finally saying I was going to do animation. So I think a few people commented on that, mostly hey, can I do voice acting? Then Ben messages me. He's like, hey, I want to do this thing for Where Dear. I'm like, are you down? I'm like, yeah, I'm totally down. And it was a month deadline. I was able to whip it up. I'm just the only note I got, which I thought was funny, just add more blood. I'm like, cool.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So yeah, John made a post. We needed some animation, and like everything else with Where Dear, it's you want to work with people that you know.
Yeah.
I I love the idea of working with people who are, for lack of a better term, John. I know you had some past experience, but largely inexperienced in a quote unquote professional sort of sense. So then everybody's kind of helping everybody out in that moment, right? Because it absolutely helped us out. And I don't know, and I've said this so much throughout making this movie, throughout this entire process, entire life. I don't know what I was expecting. I really have no idea what I was expecting, but I was like, we'll put it in his hands, we'll see what it is. And then far surpassed whatever I was expecting. Now,
Yeah, I've seen it. It's
Thank
awesome.
I've seen it too. Okay, so we're allowed to say we've seen it. It is so good. It is so funny. John, you are incredibly talented. I was laughing out loud.
So we took it. Me and Jimmy had found a voiceover actress, a friend of Jimmy's in Chicago. She did the voices. We got that over to John. John was able to pump that into his program, what he was doing, and then he drafted up Mama Deer and Baby Deer in their little background. And then, yeah, the only note really was, because I mean, it's very much a Bambi-esque thing. A mother is killed in front of her kid, and then her kid gets killed, and it was just like, oh, why doesn't the blood splatter on the baby? And then John was like, okay, sure. You're probably right.
I don't want to spoil it, but there was a particular part that was cracking me up. I'll say it after the movie. John, remind me to text you after the movie comes out. I thought you had very comedic things within a very dark moment. I thought you did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really, really fun. And then the first thing I do, and I've been doing this with everybody, and I'll continue to do it with everybody. People will share with me what they've done, their thing, and then I immediately share it to like 10 or 15 people to get like
10 or 15 people.
Yeah, I get like, well, you think you're the only group chat I got that I share this shit with?
That's what I'm saying. It's not just 10 or 15 people. It's probably more like 30.
I mean, that's valid. Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I was lying. I've seen nothing. I was just making it up.
Especially, yeah, whatever. So I've made a couple of people angry by sharing work and fuck them. Like, I love them, but fuck. How?
Yeah, you paid for it. So
what else are you supposed to do though if you don't share it? If you don't have people look at it, like in that bubble, fuck it. Tell me how horrible it is. Tell me it's garbage, so we can fix it and make it better. That's all I'm trying to do.
I really don't know how anyone would like. Yeah, like I need outside eyes. I don't know. I get it.
Yeah, you have to count on it. Have to. And I thought John put up. I thought John put up wonderful work. So I showed it to the guys, and I didn't tell them it was you at first, John. And they're like, "Yo, that cartoon's funny. Who did that?" And I was like, "John Silecchia did that." And everybody said no. And I was like, "Absolutely." And they're like, "Holy fuck." And then they watched it back again and were like, holy fuck.
And like I said, I had that same reaction too, but it wasn't like I didn't like it wasn't like, oh, John Silecchia. No, it was just like I had no idea that you even did animation. You know what I mean? I had no idea.
Disbelief. People know you as like a PA. They know you work for this TV station. Nobody knew that you had animation inside you until what? You showed automation. That's why you don't tell people who did it. You go, John Silecchia did that. No. What? Again. And then they watch it again and they're like, God damn. Everybody gets just the slightest bit jealous in that moment. And I fucking love it. It's my favorite thing.
John, remind me, because you probably said it earlier and I just don't remember. Did you study animation or did you study film production?
I studied film production.
Cool. Oh, cool. Oh, wow. So animation was like an additional, like, element you're good at then.
Yeah, I just picked it up just naturally.
Wow. I'm jealous of that.
Like I did.
Yeah.
Some people just got that. I do not. I've always like wanted to be able to do that. That's so cool.
And you draw it all yourself.
I do.
Right?
All of it is hand drawn by me. Either it be like me scanned in files or just me like because I do have a tablet, so it's either me drawing it, but it's all like hand drawn. So
Cool. Wow. Very
Yeah,
impressive.
dude, man, I'm excited to see what else you do. You know, whatever we can talk about on here, because I love having animators and talking about programs and what it takes to make animation.
Would you?
Because I mean,
Yeah.
because animation is like one of the hardest things out there. Like like you're creating a world. You know, there's someone like said this once I was listening to, where it's like animation, unlike like you're shooting something, like you literally have to. You're working frame by frame and have to create a world that doesn't exist. You know, like with a camera, you can kind of figure it out and pretend to be wherever you are. You know, but with animation, like you literally have to figure out what this person is, how they're going to react to this thing that you also have to create in the world that you also have to create around them and make it all feel seamless at the same time. So, mad respects, John Silecchia.
Like 110%. And can I tell you something else too? People who watch through the rough cut, like everybody points out that segment. Everybody points it out, and they're like, again, it's one of the funniest bits in there. Like just start to finish. And then what it leads to, it only amplifies the humor. And what comes immediately after is what we've just seen. And you gave us everything we needed and could have possibly wanted.
you know, I am very glad to hear that. That really warms me that you guys feel that way. Like genuinely, like I appreciate that.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Couldn't
John-
have
We'll
been
keep sucking here on this show.
John,
have
could
been
you
better.
imagine yourself working on a feature? Like like animating a feature? I know it'd be a lot of work, but is that something you could like imagine yourself tackling?
Not at this moment. I would say maybe like almost like I don't want to say 10 years down the line, but
No, I hear
but I
you.
would like to more or less have like a show.
Cool.
I've been passing around ideas. Like I'll talk about some after, because some of them are a little bit more ambitious. But the one I want to announce at least right now, because I at least have a script going and I'm starting the storyboard, is called Loch.
Oh, that's right.
It's called Loch Ness Mysteries. It's about the Loch Ness monster solving crimes. So that's about it I can say for right now. But that's just the general gist, and hopefully I'll have something at least by like summer.
Very cool.
No, that's amazing, dude. I'm very jealous because I've been trying to do an animated show for like 4 years, and I got as far as like a pitch that I didn't like. So, you know, this shit's hard.
Let's collaborate. Like I'm totally down.
Let's figure it out. Yeah, I mean, I got a full pilot. Hopefully, you know.
Yeah, Underpowered. Check it out on Troma
Underpowered.
Now.
Yeah. Troma Now, that's right. Yeah, it's still on there. I actually forgot. It's also on their YouTube, actually. So you can watch it on Troma's YouTube.
That's right.
And then you can listen to the episode of our podcast where we break it down in detail.
That's true.
Yeah,
we
the
do have a
actual 12 yeah.
we have a creator series with Phil Matarese and James Boylan.
Yeah, for my show that doesn't even exist yet.
And now John Silecchia.
Yeah, well,
This is
we'll
number
definitely talk
3.
about it.
This is number
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, because especially, dude, if you got it when you get going with any of these shows, man, you want to promote it. Come on, you know, I love to talk about it and get into the gritty of how you're making it. Because even like just doing animation by yourself is like, you know, insane. Because this shit's made. Watch any show, Rick and Morty, this show, Grim Adventures. You look at those credits. There's like 50 fucking people on this thing.
Mhm.
You know. Even on a show like this, that's like, even though they got a bunch of crazy camera stuff, but it's very like, you know, the animation's not too wild, but still, look at all the fucking people that
Yeah,
work
I mean,
on it.
Yeah.
you have like your layout, you have like your props, you know, character animators, interns. So it's like it's a lot going into it. It's like, you know, one guy with a tablet.
Yeah.
You know, so it's taking a little bit more time. But also
Yeah.
too, what I'm hoping to do, because I know Newgrounds has this feature where you can collaborate with others. You can just like throw out like a post in. So hopefully, you know, once I get to more of the ambitious projects, I'll be throwing out more stuff. You know, obviously like, you know, voice actors too. So that's it.
All right. Well, let's go down this path right now. Now, usually, John, that I don't know if you know this or seen the show. When we talk, as we finish up, we wrap up here. We rate each show by 2 ratings. When you don't like it, you give it the old Derek. And if you do like it, you give it the Zach Amico.
Success.
So, I want to save you for last because this is, you know, you picked the show. So I always like to, you know, and the guest on this one. But I'm gonna start with Nicole, since you've seen the least amount of the show.
I know.
What are your final thoughts? What do you guys say about it? What are your feelings?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I became overwhelmed by being 31 and I dropped the ball. I know. That noise is for me. But this show is a success. I mean, like I said, it's a really smart idea. Not many shows live in the zeitgeist quite the same way. You know what I mean? Like, I always forget how many shows are just forgotten with time. And this one,
right?
Just like, yeah, like
I can't believe this shit is. No one talks about this more.
Yeah. Yes, and I feel like for a show, I don't know. It like still has I don't know. Whatever. I think the show is a success.
And I never heard an improv comedian say yes and then be like, I don't know.
Yes, and fuck me. I don't know. The show is a success. Yes, that's it.
Success.
All right, Yeti, what are you giving the show?
Yeah, no, bro, absolute 100% success. I walked into it. You wrong button, dude. I walked into it completely like raw. I didn't really know what to expect. And after one episode, I just kept letting it play. Like I really did. I just enjoyed it. Everything from the artwork to the fart work to the like seriously, like it.
There was one joke. Oh fuck! Like Grim was watching something on TV. Oh, he was like, it's like a It was a show called Trouble Pony, and it was like like a soap opera, Little Ponies, and he says the line of like, it's like comedy, but it's also drama. It's like a dramedy, but it's also like fun and artsy. So it's like a dramedy fart.
Yes, a dramedy fart.
Amazing.
Like, it's smart. The references run deep. Like everything from not just like cartoons, the Hanna-Barbera stuff, the Scooby Doo's, the Yogi Bears, like. But to the movies that they parody, that they reference, that they touch, like it hits home for a lot of folks. I would say significantly older than maybe their target demographic, and I think they play a little on that, and I think they play very well on that. So very good. Success.
I agree to that too, because watching it, I'm like, who really is this show made for? But like I said, I remember watching it a fuck ton as a kid, all the time. Like I would just sit there and just take it all in, because I mean, I always thought the show was hilarious. I love how weird it is, and it does this like early 2000s, like late 90s, like Cartoon Network style, where it does like the extreme close-ups that are really gross and stuff. I always love that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And Fred Fredberger is just a fucking. I love Fred Fredberger. Yeah. I just like. I've never laughed so hard as just a random character just on screen. Just be like, I'm Fred Fredberger. I like nachos.
Relatable.
What flavor is this? What is this brown one? It's chocolate. This brown and yellow one, chocolate and banana. What's this pink one? He just keeps going. Oh man. Then when pooping is by far I think my favorite joke in this show. And I love the craziness. Even I remember a reference in the zombie one where they had they're like intestines that were coming after Billy, and that's such a like Dead Alive reference. And I fucking love that movie. So I love watching intestines come to life. So yeah, I'm giving the show success. Like I said, I just remember a lot of it as a kid, and it's still fucking funny. Like I was like, not that like I didn't know what to expect from it, but I just didn't know. And rewatching, I said it brought the whole house out. All the roommates came out. Everyone was just in on it. Like everyone, it was like I was watching TV again. Like when I was 12, everybody just sat there for 4 hours just watching like repeats of the show over and over again. So thank you, John, for making me watch the show again, because I fucking missed it. And Nicole was right. Nobody talks about this show anymore. It's fucking awesome. So is Evil Con Carne. I don't even know what the creator does anymore. But I want.
You know, he pitched a movie to Cartoon Network called Billy and Mandy Destroy Us All, which is supposed to be like a musical. Yeah, it's on his Tumblr blog.
Awesome.
I can send it after, but yeah, he's trying to get a movie pitched.
Nice.
Well, I hope it, because more people. Billy and Mandy should come back as a movie. That would be fucking incredible. But yeah, John, what do you give in this show? What's your final thoughts?
I feel like it's a very, I don't want to say niche show because it went on for about 6 seasons, but I feel like compared to a lot of Cartoon Network,
it feels like niche
yeah,
now.
definitely now.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to everything else, I feel like stuff that's usually remembered when people talk about old Cartoon Network, like Dexter's Lab.
Yeah.
I mean, Courage, of course.
Like Courage.
But like Billy and Mandy just seems to get like cited a little bit, because it pretty much carried the whole network. And again, going back to Fred Burger, Fred Burger for a while had like a bump on Cartoon Network just called Yes, like just to show how So I think Billy and Mandy was this definite powerhouse of the early 2000s, even like late 2000s of cartoon.
Yes, and I remember it was just like always on. It was always there. So I hate it that nobody remembers it now. Fucking everybody, go watch it.
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
So yeah, what do you got to rate it though? What are you giving the show?
Is it a success or is it an E? Those are the two.
I give it a success.
Success.
James just likes pushing his button. Is really what it is.
Yeah. So thank you again, John, for being on the show. It was so much fun. Thank you for bringing Billy and Mandy back into our lives and hopefully into the zeitgeist. And more people are going to come around and watch this show. For real, it's a long time coming. So thank you, for hanging out.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, this has been a lot of fun.
I hope so. So we go off the rails a bit. But where can we find you at, John? What do you got to plug for us? Anything?
So wait, hey James, time out real quick before we get to that.
What do we got?
What are we watching next week? Before we get to our plugs,
right.
What are we watching next week?
Because I said when Leo's not here, I get all thrown off. I lose my mind a bit. But next week's actually a very special episode. Unfortunately, John, you won't be on, but it is a very special episode because it's officially our 2-year anniversary.
Aww.
I mean, if you ask Derek, it's our 1-year anniversary.
It's all the same.
It's officially our 2-year anniversary. I can't believe we've been doing it for 2 weeks. So we're not watching a show next week.
2 weeks? Or 2 years?
We're doing it for 2 whole weeks.
Next week we're not watching a show, and it's gonna be like we did last year. It's gonna be a nice little clip show.
Ooh.
We're gonna rewatch, re-listen, I should say. And now we actually can rewatch episodes because of the YouTube, and we watched it from the past year. And here's the crazy part: just like last year, we're gonna do another little trivia game. About the year of Totally Toonular, and the winner obviously gets to pick the show of the week the following week. So, let's do it. So it's gonna be a good one.
This is all I'm gonna say. Like on trivia stuff, so far I'm like 2 for 2, right?
Yeah, I mean you're so far the king.
There you go. We're gonna make it the hat trick, baby. We're going for 3.
Hey, Leo came close in the last one, but this is solely just the past year of Totally Toonular. So from last year, from when we did the Batman, on.
Got it. I'm ready. I'm here. It's over, Johnny.
I hate that you're probably right. Like, I wish you weren't right, but you are right, probably.
Yeah, I'm going to win.
Well, let's see what you got next week. Again, John, thank you so much for coming on the show. You said 2 years, man. It's been a while we chatted to get you on here, so I'm glad we finally fucking pulled that trigger. I'm glad I got you on. Like I said, I've said it a billion times. I'm terrible at scheduling. So, I do my best. But you're on. You made it. I love you, John. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and my own website, neondreamstudios.com. Or, Facebook and Instagram, Neon Dream Studios. That's where I'll be posting a lot of my content, which hopefully there'll be more animation content coming out soon. But I also do live action videos.
Nice. Is Taquitos on there?
No, but Taquitos is on Troma now. So if you so if you want to pay $4.99 a month and watch Taquitos, that would help me out.
Hey, the first month's free. Don't forget about that.
It's free, yes.
All right, thank you so much, John. I don't know, Nicole, where we find you at?
Forget about me and everyone hire John, my new friend. Thank you.
Success.
Yeti, where we find you at?
Crying at this computer for probably the next month and a half while we try and finish up Curse of the Weredeer. You will find me right now inside of our YouTube chat making promises to Reeves that if I do win next week, I already know what we're watching.
No. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. Do I even want to look at the chat?
Probably not. And then from there, you can always find me at yarn_Yeti, at shit.house.productions, both on Instagram. It's the best way to get in touch with me. That's where I live.
Can I say something? Wait. Yeah, can I say something? If I win, it might be Father of the Pride. But we'll see.
All right. We'll guess we'll see what happens. I'd rather that than, whatever happening here in this chat. But I do thank you all of you in this chat, man. This chat was blowing up tonight, man. Slowly this chat was getting busier and busier. It's pretty awesome. I kind of love it. Thank you guys for commenting. And as of right now, you can listen to the new Blunt Smoker we just put out. It was it's an old episode we recorded. It's us, me, John, Stevie Lou as always, with Mia from the Star of Cook Island.
Yay!
And we watched Batman and Robin. So, that's not a great movie, but I love Batman, so there's a lot going on in there. And so that episode's out now. Then the week after, next week, I got finally a new Makes No Death hanging out with Sam Zhang, and it's pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing. We get into our favorite memories. We get a few phone calls in, and we can talk about our favorite and worst memories of Sam Zhang. So go listen to that next week on Spotify. So thank you. Fantasy shit everywhere, all over the places, everywhere, all at once. So yeah, peace out, guys. Thank you for the chat. Goodbye.
Bye.
Later.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big, fat